staying in Vellore right now, and I'm studying at DMSF, and I've just finished my 4th year clerkship, and I'm waiting to be graduated this month. When I was little, I used to be an astronaut or get into a government job, something like that. But then towards my high school days, that is when I realized I had a passion for medicine, and I wanted to pursue medicine. Getting a medicine seat in India is hard, so it has a lot of competitions, and also back in India options are available, but then it is more expensive in India. Medicine is more expensive compared to Vellore, so this was a more comfortable and a cheaper alternative, so I chose Vellore. The first thing, the first struggle or the most hard thing was like the distance from my parents, because I couldn't go back to India for a year. So I had to stay here by myself, take care of myself. Initially, I didn't have a way to communicate also to my parents. Only later I got all my SIM and all that. So it was hard at first. And then also the other struggles were like the language was different, and the places were new, and I didn't know where to go at first. I didn't know where to get all my needs, but then I learned it gradually. I just blended into the city, to be honest. I was born into a Protestant family. From my early ages, I was brought up in Christianity. My entire family was religious. My grandmother, my parents, my cousins, my aunts and uncles, everyone was religious. Everyone regularly went to church every Sunday, and that is how I was brought up. I went to Sunday schools with my cousins. I learned stories there, and my early knowledge about Christianity was from my grandmother. She was the one who guided me, because I spent a lot of time with her at her house. She used to tell me stories about Bible stories, and she also told me her personal experiences in Christianity, because she did go through a lot of struggles, and she got through with the help of Jesus. It really put a significant impact in my heart. But then the time that I realized Jesus as a savior was probably during my high school and my college days. That was the time when my parents emphasized that I read my Bible, that just listening to stories wasn't enough. So they were the one who told me to start with Matthew. That was the books that talks about Jesus as a savior and how he really sacrificed himself for us, his struggles, and how much he loves us and he cares for us. I did spend time reading Bible, and it guided me what to do and what to expect, and I also realized what I have been doing wrong and what I should follow. That's really the growth of my faith. Back home, it was my family who actually guided me. Even if I'm sleepy on a Sunday, my mother made sure that she woke me up and she takes me to church. At least somehow they take me to church, and even for reading a Bible, they did really guide me at my initial stages, because I wasn't like very into Christianity. That was the time when my parents were really helpful. But when I came here, I was on my own. So to really be into Christianity by myself was a challenge, because there was no one to guide me and no one to look over me. For the initial few weeks of my stay in Davao, I didn't know where to go to church, and I didn't know a lot of people. But then I had my friend Abhisha, and she's the one who brought me here to GMBT. She had come here earlier. I think it's from December 2015 I have been going here to GMBT. Coming here to church was really helpful to keep my faith, and every Sunday coming here, listening to the messages, singing songs here, praising God, it really reminded me that I should read Bible. When the COVID started, I was back in India. So every country was actually shutting down their borders at that time. So I had to rush back to Philippines, book a ticket at the last minute, and I had to get back here. Once I got here, I did go through hospitals for my clerkship. But then once Davao started getting cases, we went into complete lockdown. So at that time, I guess everything was new, and people didn't have any idea what to expect with this COVID. They didn't know how to actually manage people. So even in my dormitory, we were just made to stay there. We weren't allowed anything, or we didn't have any basic necessities. It was hard to get hold of basic necessities, like even for a toothpaste or a toothbrush, even for a snack or anything to drink. We had to wait for people to refill the available goods, so that even when those goods were available, it was a very long queue, and we had to really fight over what was available. That was the condition initially, like for first few months. Throughout my life, church has been a very strong point in establishing my faith within me. So when I was in lockdown, I couldn't attend church, and I didn't have anything to guide me. Even in the Christian community in the dorm, I did have my friends there. It was a little bit dispersed at first because people didn't know what to do, how to gather, because we were prohibited from gathering. So my faith did waver a bit. It was hard because not going to church really did have its impact. I didn't have that the motivation to get up early, read Bible, pray to God, and all that was a little bit lagging for me. But of course, my parents did call every day, and they will ask me if I had read the Bible, if I'm praying, if I'm still having faith in Jesus. That also kept me going, but at some point I did waver a bit. I wasn't like how I used to be. It wasn't a specific incident that made me realize. It was a couple of incidents and all that made me realize that I was moving away from God. But that is what I believe in. Every time I lose my way, something guides me. God guides me. He takes me back to His way. No matter how much you lose your way, whatever you're going through, all the tribulations, everything, whatever hardships you're going through, God will always guide you. He never forsakes you. I did get back to God. I got back to my faith, and I started praying again. And that is how the faith really got affected during this COVID period. My plans is God is who leads us. He has plans for us already. No matter where life takes me, no matter what God plans for me, I will work in His name. I will work for Him, and I would always like to live a life which inspires other people to believe in Jesus, realize that Jesus is God. That is how I want my life to be.
How about as a doctor?
As a doctor, I would really like to bring Jesus into my work, telling people whenever I could how God really helps me with the work I do, help other people realize that it was my work that I'm doing through Jesus, because whatever I do, it is Him who's guiding me, and I want people to realize that and really understand God as a Savior. Jesus is a Savior. This generation actually is facing a lot of challenge in the aspect of faith, because there are a lot of distractions. It isn't like what it used to be during the days of my grandmother or my parents, because I'm as I can see it firsthand, I'm experiencing a lot of distractions for my faith. So I would really encourage the parents right now and the future parents to really bring their children in faith, like guide them to read Bible, pray, and also tell them stories about how God changed your life. Because my parents, my grandparents, all of them really did tell me how God helped them. They told me stories about how God changed their lives, how God helped them get through difficulties. That really helped me to anchor my faith in God and Jesus Christ as Savior.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. There are a lot of emotions. I'm unable to give a word for it.